This is Wiggum from Reddit Omega bringing you a recap of war number 230. We randomly matched up against Reddit Force, a member of the Reddit War Clan system and a strong clan in their own right. If you are familiar with their YouTube channel, you know that they have some great attacks and some great results. And if you've not visited their YouTube channel, I highly recommend going over there and giving Mocha Boys and all of his clan some love. Now, this was a random matchup. We did not arrange a scrimmage against Reddit Force, but considering this war, win or lose, would get us to clan level 9, it was a great matchup for us. So it was a 35 v 35 war, and we were very happy to get the match because obviously when you play, you want to get the best opponents possible. If you look at our war log, you'll note that recently, since the last recap, we've had mostly wins. We had one loss to a Chinese modding clan, but otherwise pretty straightforward wins. And so it was nice to get a clan that did not have net bases, that had good level heroes, and that employed 3-star strategies without, and obviously 100% fair play. So very important there. All right, so this is going to be fairly lengthy. I'm going to show you all of the 3-star attacks, and I'm going to start with Town Hall 10. We did not 3-star many of their Town Hall 10s. As you might imagine, they had some really, really good bases. So this is Stingray, and you'll note that with the time remaining that this was close on time. And since this is going to be such a long video, I'm going to go ahead and ×2 the majority of these replays. So we start with an EQ walk. You note that he's got both witches and hogs. His earthquake opens that path up to the Inferno Tower nicely, actually to both Inferno Towers. And so now that we've created a funnel, releasing the witches, Queen's going to join in on that funnel, take out that air defense while she still has some healers left. And the CC was a golem. Now, this base had been scouted. In fact, what we did is we had a couple of our Town Hall 9s, 2-star scout several of their Town Hall 10s, and that enabled us to spend quite a bit of time on 3-star strategies on their Town Hall 10s. Despite the number of attempts we put in, we still didn't get many 3-stars. So this one, you note the hogs are pretty much melted, 1 hog remaining. But Queen still has her ability, so she's able to take out all the remaining defenses. And it's just a question of racing the clock at this point. Having that 1 hog who can jump over walls and start DPSing buildings, that really helps. Had he not had that 1 hog, this could have been a fail. It was that close on time. But secures the 3. Most all of his witches remain up. Surprising, actually. Okay, next attack is, now we're getting into the Town Hall 9, so we only had 1 Town Hall 10 3-star. This is Coolopotamus. He is cleaning up a base that had actually been attempted by one of our Town Hall 9.5s, T, who's usually very, very solid. In fact, he gets a 3-star in another Town Hall 9, you'll see, but this is Coolopotamus taking that scout and coming behind it with a Govaho. Well, AQ Walk Govaho. AQ Walk Govaho is something I'm going to be saying a lot in this recap, by the way. So he's being patient. This is more of an AQ thrust than an AQ walk because he's not going around the exterior of the base. He's using the AQ to penetrate into the base. And now that the CC is spawned, he can go ahead and start the remainder of his raid. You'll see that he's not going directly at the opposing Archer Queen. This is common when you use an AQ strategy, or when you use a Valkyrie strategy. In these kind of spread out bases, what you want to try to do is you want to try to get your Valkyries to take out as much of the point defenses and just buildings as possible. So now he's gone ahead and deployed his hogs, got them under heal. His Archer Queen's still alive. She still has plenty of healing. She's not going to go down. And Valkyries were able, and Barbarian King were able to take down the opposing Archer Queens, so now it's just all a matter of cleanup. And you'll note that all of this cleanup is funneling in the same direction. So efficient from a time perspective. Okay, next attack is from the aforementioned Mr. T. So this is a bully attack. T is a Town Hall 10. He hasn't dropped his Infernos yet, but he has upgraded his camps and he has upgraded his lab and spell factory. So that gives him an extra spell to play with, and that makes quite a bit of difference. So he's starting with an EQ walk again. Going to go ahead and spawn that opposing clan castle. Now this was a fresh attack, so he didn't know what was in it, but it's always prudent to take a poison. You can always use it on a Archer Queen or something like that to slow down her attacks, or on skeletons. So he's dropping hogs in to take out this this air defense. That's really smart. Otherwise that air defense would pick off all his healing. And he's also gone ahead and started with this kill squad for the Archer Queen. This is efficient from a time perspective. And now he's just going to have hogs coming in from every single side of the base. This part's kind of cruel. You might want to avert your eyes. So in very short amount of time, the base is done for. And incidentally, those heals were not swag heals. We've actually kind of made an informal rule not to swag spells anymore. Okay, next attack is from Frodo. So Frodo had a 6-star war. He was on cleanup. Coolopotamus and Frodo were both assigned to cleanup. So we separate people into fresh attackers, utility attackers, which basically means one of each, and cleanup. And Frodo and Coolopotamus are amazing at cleanup. So here he's starting with an AQ walk, followed by hogs. Going to be lots of AQ walks today. If that's not your thing, I apologize. But it works very well in the current meta with these bases with empty cores. The Archer Queen walk makes more sense, actually. So there's a P.E.K.K.A in the CC, P.E.K.K.A Loon. That's a CC composition I like to use quite a bit. It actually draws a concession from the Archer Queen because it makes her use her ability. So yes, it's easy to clean up, but getting her to use that ability is quite useful. So now he's going to use his Barbarian King in a split fashion to jump in and wreck that opposing Archer Queen, and now releasing the hogs. So there's a Tesla farm here. He was aware of it, and he's gone ahead and dropped a heal right on top of it. And you'll see that once his hogs finish that Tesla farm, the defenses are pretty much done, and it's all a matter of cleanup. Okay, this is Jimbo with a fresh attack on their number 10. It's kind of funny because Jimbo was kind of hashing out this plan in GroupMe, and about 10 minutes after he proposed the plan, he was in and attacking, and that's a very quick turnaround time. I tend to think about things for sometimes hours, but Jimbo was very certain of this plan, and as well in that trust was justified. So his Earthquake opens up this base beautifully, and he's going to send his kill squad straight at that breach. So opposing Archer Queen is on the opposite side of the wall. Does not want to be there when the Barbarian King is coming to wreck her. Goes ahead and drops a Rage spell here. This actually makes quite a bit of sense. It gets the Queen through these high hit point buildings quicker. Sometimes if the Queen gets stuck on a high hit point building, she could veer off instead of following the remainder of the kill squad. And you notice with his hog pathing, he's hogging on the side of his kill squad, and now he's bringing his hogs in from the other direction. And you can guess that there's going to be double giant bombs on both sides. So one side's disarmed, and now the other side's actually tripped as well. So these hogs are going to stand or heal for the remainder of the point defenses. And yes, the opposing Barbarian King does take care of those hogs, but the Archer Queen's going to go say hello and shoot him in the face. And then it is a somewhat lengthy cleanup because he only has 2 wizards and his Archer Queen, and an archer, excuse me. But it's progressing in a straightforward path, converging in one direction, which is always helpful. Okay, Tito taking on their number 11. I believe this was a cleanup attack. And again, we have AQ Walk, have some minions helping to channel that Archer Queen. And a rage goes down early rather than late. Sometimes people wait on their rages and they try to hold it off until they really need it, and by the time they drop it, it's too late. And I always prefer kind of raging early rather than late. He's also got 2 poisons here. Now, he knew that there was a witch in the CC, so he pops a poison in a spot that's going to kill that witch, and then a poison in a spot that's going to kill the archers. So pretty smart. Sends a couple of hogs in there, takes out a air defense, and trips a double giant bomb location. Queen has used her ability, but he still has a rage left if he needs it. And now he's going to hog right in the middle of his heroes. They're going to work with good synergy. Then hogs on the backside as well. He's going to have, he's tripped, as you can see, all the giant bombs, so he can go ahead and use that rage spell on those hogs because he didn't need it elsewhere. And from here, it's just straightforward. Okay, Dylan on their number 12. Now, Dylan is one of a few people in the clan who's quite proficient with air attacks. We are still probably more fans of Goho and Govaho and AQ Walks, but some of us are quite good at air attacks, and it makes a lot of sense on this base because that EQ you see essentially exposes for sure 3 of those air defenses and indirectly exposes the 4th air defense. And even if you don't get that 4th air defense with your kill squad, that's fine. You've got 2 hounds. So he's got a poison on the CC, slows down the attacks, quite important. And now his Barbarian King is headed straight to that Tesla farm. So there's 2 air defenses down. Here's a 3rd air defense down. Sweeper is down. So at this point, it's just a question of whether your loons are going to path properly. In fact, the Archer Queen's going to come in and take out that 4th air defense, so now there's really no resistance. Archer Queen's still alive, still at full health, still has her ability. And now that she's safe from dying, he's going to go ahead and use it. So all of a sudden, there are just 2 defenses left. And yes, he doesn't have any cleanup loons or any cleanup wizards, and one of his hounds didn't pop, but it really doesn't matter. He's got plenty of time. GS Warrior Mike, 6-star war. This was a fresh attack, I believe. And again, we're going to have an AQ walk. So he's dropping a wizard preemptively to help create a channel. And now this queen is going to pick off both opposing heroes. So he needs to pop his ability, since he didn't use a rage. Takes out both of those heroes. So now there's just really the clan castle and double giant bombs to oppose his hogs. So we're going to see how he deals with those. Okay, first he breaks into a compartment to get his queen in to take out some of these point defenses and take out potential double giant bomb spots, and gets rewarded by taking out a Tesla farm and the clan castle. So very useful having poison. Now he uses a jump spell. Anytime you jump with a queen, it's somewhat tricky, but this turns out to be the correct decision here. So there he trips 1 giant bomb, or 1 pair of giant bombs, and now he's tripped a 3rd giant bomb and a 4th, and he hasn't lost a single hog to giant bombs. A couple to a spring trap, a couple more to a spring trap. But with this heal here, these remaining hogs are going to take down the remainder of the point defenses, and then everything is just going to converge in cleanup. Excellent attack. Leonidas on their 14. Leonidas also had a 6-star war. I think he had one fresh 3 and one cleanup 3. I think this was the fresh 3. So he's got a varied composition. He's Valk heavy. Anytime you have more than, say, 6 Valks, that's a little heavier than normal. You notice he's got a couple of dragons, probably going to use those to pick off the opposing Archer Queen. So here they come, using wizards to create a funnel for them. He also has a rage. The question is, do you use this rage for your dragons? Typically you do, but here you can see his dragons are not going the way he wants them to go. So he goes ahead and rages those dragons, and then the dragons completely ignore the Archer Queen. They completely ignore the rage spell. Okay, so this was not optimal. The dragons essentially became percentage dragons, but he 3'd, so essentially that 75-ish, that 50-ish troop space only got him about 20%, unfortunately, without taking out the Archer Queen. But he's going to go ahead and start some hogging. He's got these hogs pathed toward his kill squad. This makes a ton of sense. It's going to allow his wizards to start cleaning up that section of the base quickly. That's something I really enjoy. And you notice he has a ton of Valkyries. So, and he does have one more jump spell. So conceivably, if he could maybe break through one wall, then he could jump his Valkyries and his Barbarian King potentially into that Archer Queen. So he's going to take his time here. He's only got 4 hogs remaining, but he still has tons of Valkyries. He hasn't lost any to Spring Traps. That's one of the banes of Valkyries. There's a 3rd giant bomb tripped. And now he's going to drop his remaining hogs in support of his kill squad. So you note he has, so he gets that jump to get his troops out of the compartment. You note that his hogs are pretty much done. But you note there's not much of this base left standing. The Barbarian King's going to get through that wall the old-fashioned way. Fortunately, there's a golem there to tank. And does a nice job taking out that Archer Queen. And he's got his Barbarian King still near full health and a Valkyrie in that compartment taking out Wizard Towers. Wizard Towers are not good against Barbarian Kings. And now his Archer Queen has taken out the last remaining point defense that can challenge her. And then it's just a matter of cleanup. So yes, he didn't get what he wanted with the dragons, but turns out he didn't need it. So nice recovery. All right, Tito attacking their number 19. You see he's got to go Vaho, or Gohova. Some people get a little picky. They say there are more troop space for hogs than there are Valkyries. That Earthquake opens that compartment up nicely. Anytime you can, in this new meta, sometimes the bases are designed with, say, 9 compartments, and you can use an Earthquake to turn that into, say, 6 compartments. And that really facilitates a ground-based attack, or at least a ground-based attack that can't jump over walls. Unfortunately, it didn't break it didn't connect to the compartment that he entered from, but it turns out not to matter. So you notice his kill squad, it takes a while to go where he wants it to go, and now his king's over there, but his king's really too late to penetrate very far. I've got a Valk or 2 that's going to trickle in over there. Okay, now they set off a pair of giant bombs. And yes, there's quite a bit of damage in that compartment with the Tesla farm and with Wizard Towers, but Hogs Under Heal can take care of all of that without too many problems. You really need to, at least when you have that many. Now, if you'd sent in, say, 6 hogs in there, they all would have died, no questions about it. But when you send in to 12 hogs or something, Under Heal, they're able to take out all those point defenses, no problem. That's really where Tesla farms shine when people are doing surgical approaches. whenever you're streaming, they don't hold up as well. Okay, next is my attack on their number 16. This is an AQ Walk Go Vaho. Well, AQ Walk Vaho, as we'll see. So I used a Barbarian to spawn the clan castle. Whenever you have an offset clan castle like that, sometimes you can get away with a cheap lure. I was prepared to commit a hog to that lure if I needed to, but I was pretty happy to see a golem. So I've gone ahead and I've dropped a couple of hogs here to take out a couple of these defenses so I can drop a wizard behind it and start taking out like this gold storage. I get a little lucky there and trip a double giant bomb while I'm at it. So I was a little perturbed by this Tesla here. I wasn't expecting that. And that caused me to change my plan, and I actually do something stupid here, and I forget my golem. I could have just dropped my golem, dropped a couple of wizards, life would have been good, but I overthought it. And instead, I go through this the ugly way. That BK ability is very early, and I drop this heal here mostly for the Barbarian King. But I've recovered, and I've got a couple jump spells here, and I'm just trickling in hogs to help clean up these point defenses. So the second jump is going to get my Valks into the opposing Archer Queen, and that's enough to take her out. Drop the remainder of my hogs, remainder of my wizards, and everything is progressing toward the same side of the base, which is always a good sign. And it's around this point that I realized that I didn't drop my CC Golem, and I felt like an idiot for it, but I didn't want to come across as bragging. Next, big on there, number 17. So this is a stone Goho. And he's going from the opposite side of the base. This is something I really like when you are looking at huge bases like this. You have to figure out what's the most efficient way to get your troops across the base. And there's a couple reasons you want to go across the base. First, because people tend to put the giant bombs on the side furthest from their Archer Queen. Well, here you see he doesn't even have to go across the base. He just uses some split hero action to jump in and kill that opposing Archer Queen. And now he's already started his hogging. Set off 3 of the 4 giant bombs. You notice they were single giant bombs. And his Archer Queen stays alive to help contribute to the cleanup. So he doesn't have much cleanup here. He doesn't have any wizards to drop. Would have been a little bit faster. But with this many hogs and with an Archer Queen doing her thing, beating on walls, let's see if she gets, no, she's not going to get to hit anything productive, is she? Takes out the remainder of the base. Butchok on their number 18. You notice even their number 18 has max heroes. So what I said earlier about it's nice to match up against a clan with good hero levels, you know, and look, you know, max walls as well. This is almost a max Town Hall 9, just lacking a couple of wizard towers, it looks like, and expo upgrades. Definitely prioritizing offense, which is something that we can certainly identify with. It's a common theme in the RWCS. So he's gone ahead and cleared this compartment here before he drops the wall breakers. Wall breakers will not break into an empty compartment, even if it's closer. So good of him to recognize that and time his wall breakers and essentially hug them to the side where they'd be shielded by the Archer Queen and get her into that compartment quicker. So he's going to have to use his, or at least probably going to have to use his AQ ability. Yeah, there he drops it right before the P.E.K.K.A. gets a second swing. If you can kill the P.E.K.K.A. before a second swing, you don't need to use the AQ ability. If you have raged healers, that is. That's important. But you'll note he doesn't have an AQ ability anymore, he doesn't have a rage anymore, and he's taken a lot of damage, so the queen actually dies. But she did get quite a bit done. Anytime your queen can take out a couple of Tessas like that you weren't expecting, it's always a nice bonus. So now he's going to start with the Govaho part of his raid. Now, Butchok was actually the first person in the clan to max his Valkyries and use them consistently at Town Hall 9. And frankly, I didn't max my Valkyries till, well, probably 2 or 3 months ago, but it was the last upgrade I did at Town Hall 9. And now I use them almost 50% of the time, I would say. So I credit Boot and I credit Pugas and a couple of other people who were really early adopters of Valkyries for kind of opening my eyes to what they could accomplish. So he's got wizards cleaning up the top part, really like that, because they're cleaning behind these hogs. So even though the hogs don't make it throughout as far into the base as he would like, he's still got a BK with the BK ability, and there aren't that many point defenses left that can actually challenge him. He also has a golem beating on an air defense, which is nice from a pathing perspective. So now he's got his Barbarian King tanking those 2 remaining point defenses, and now he pops his ability. Those Barbarians that he spawns are going to help him get through that compartment quicker. And you notice they make a beeline for the 2 point defenses, and now all that's left is 1 Wizard Tower. And 1 Wizard Tower is not going to defend against all this. So hung in there, got the 3. Hakimaki on their number 19. This was a fresh attack. And we again have AQ walk with a Govaho element. And he's earthquaked the middle of this base to open it up nicely. So we'll see how he gets his kill squad in there. Now you'll notice the troop composition numbers between different AQ Govahos is different. Some people use 6 or 7 Valks. You see Hakimaki here has 4. Some people use 1 Golem, some people use 2, 3 healers, 4 healers. You really have to adapt it to the base. What I like to do is I like to count the number of point defenses my AQ is going to be tanking at the same time, and then base my healers accordingly. If she's never going to be tanking more than 2, for example, you can get away with 3 healers. Or if you're going to keep her under rage when she's tanking 3, you can get away with 3 healers again. Now he goes ahead and drops his Valkyries to help create the funnel. Normally you don't do this. I usually say, Valkyries need a wide funnel, but here it makes perfect sense because the AQ is creating 1/2 of the funnel and wizards are creating the other half. So Valkyries are really just taking out the trash buildings on their way into the base. And you notice they wreck Archer Queens. So he's gone ahead and dropped some of his hogs. He doesn't really need that many hogs because his kill squad's taken out so much. But you may as well. And very smoothly and in very short amount of time, the base is done for. A lot of skill went into that. Here's Frodo Baggins. Again, I told you he had a 6-star war on cleanup, and here he is cleaning up a bit lower. This happens when you have your top Town Hall 9s getting fresh 3 stars. Sometimes your cleanup attackers have to hit quite low. So again, EQ thrust, and then he's got a Laloon behind it. And you'll note that he's got his AQ taking out 2 air defenses and quite a few point defenses at the same time. And she's still alive. She's still contributing. She's going to go around and take out those opposing heroes as well with the help of the Barbarian King. And now the Laloon starts. So he rages right into those Teslas, gets his loons into the air defense quickly. And you see he's got an extra hound for that air defense just in case. Probably didn't need it, but it's perfectly fine to be safe rather than sorry. And so the only concern are these high hit point storages in the middle, but he's got pups in there. Archer Queen uses her cloak in vain to try to get there, but okay, waxed on their number 22. Very quick attack, and this is a mixture. This is a very technical composition because you have both loons and hogs. Usually in the Gova variants, you either use backside loons or backside hogs. So Govaho or Govalo, one of the two. In this case, he has both, and he has a very specific purpose in mind for him, so let's keep an eye out for that. So he's got a nice break in here, opening 2 compartments, and he's got 2 jump spells. First, he's going to drop a heal for his Valks as they break 1 giant bomb, and then they tank some of the clan castle. Loons and wizards can wreck Valkyries. Okay, now we've got some loons coming in. The loons are there because that keeps his troops from trying to beat their way into that compartment, and because he's got plenty of tanking for those loons. They're not tanking anything themselves. And now they're going to come contribute. They're going to take out this cannon, and the air defense is going to beat on them. But that's okay. They've done their job. And soon it's going to be time for his hogs. So heroes are down. Giant bombs are pretty much all tripped. And now we start with the hog portion. Another good idea for a loon, but there was a mine there. He still has his Barbarian King ability, and he's gone ahead and dropped a Cleanup Wizard. He's got Cleanup Wizards on both sides, headed toward the middle. You see heroes are racing for that Builder Hut. And now it's just a matter for cleanup. Plenty of hogs left, plenty of wizards left, both heroes. All right, James on their 24. James had a 6-star war. And guess what? AQ walk or AQ thrust, go Vaho. Now, we've seen that a lot this war, and I've talked about the fact that it just makes a lot of sense in this meta. But think about it in the terms of this base. This base has what we're talking about with this almost empty core. It has this huge core with not much in it. So whenever you're, and I've talked about this in previous recaps, whenever you're trying to figure out how to shape a base, you're thinking about that empty core, and you're thinking about what would make the most sense. And there are a couple things that do. Dragons actually make quite a bit of sense. Valkyries actually make quite a bit of sense. You're also trying to defeat Tesla farms, you're trying to defeat double giant bomb locations, and Valkyries can tank double giant bombs, especially under heal, and they're just fine, and they can clear Tesla farms. So now point defenses are all down, and just straightforward cleanup. And yes, that clan castle in the middle is going to take a while for a ranged troop to beat her way in there, but straightforward nonetheless. Okay, top cop on their number 23. You'll note that this attack was close from a time perspective. So AQ walk with hogs. And the AQ is going to choose to beat into that wall there. That's not what he wanted her to do. But the AQ has an aggro radius of 7 or 8 tiles, and if there are no buildings within that, but there are on the other side of a wall, then she'll go through the wall. Sometimes a little bit frustrating. So his Barbarian King is going to go there and take care of the opposing Archer Queen quite easily. Does need to pop that ability. And you see his Archer Queen is still up, still at full health, and is taking out the opposing Barbarian King. She has used her ability. And yes, she's going to beat on some walls, but that's okay. So we do have one probable giant bomb spot there. We'll see how to navigate that. Well, fortunately, the giant bomb was against the wall, so he was able to just trip it one at a time and now heal through it. So hogs can't have a hard time when there are so few of them in Tesla farms like this, but fortunately they're not taking too many towers at a time, and even if they don't take out, well, let's see, it's a race. Nope. Even if they don't take out all the Teslas, when you have a Archer Queen at full health and you have tons of healing left, and you have wizards going around all the other sides of the base, it doesn't really matter if that Tesla takes out a couple of troops. Its days are numbered. And it's over. Okay, Green Man on there, number 24. Green Man is someone that we like to put on fresh attacks because his 3-star percentage is quite high, and he does a good job of getting his attacks in early. Whenever you're looking for people to do fresh, utility, and cleanup, you're really thinking about a couple things. You're thinking about their performance in certain roles. You're thinking about their schedule, what time zone they're in, and you're thinking about their own preferences. Obviously, you try to accommodate their own preferences if you can, but Green Man is one of our better, if not one of the best, Town Hall 9 fresh attackers from the lower half of our Town Hall 9s. So here he's doing a Shattered Goho. Still got a bunch of hogs in reserve. And you notice he is able to trip those giant bombs one at a time. And he has a heal and no more giant bombs, so those remaining defenses are dead. He does have quite a bit left to clean up, but that's quite all right. And yes, he holds the spell. Good job. Tenacious D, or Dean as we call him for short. Get rid of those. You see he's got a La Lune attack, kind of a max attack style. So he's going straight at that opposing Archer Queen. He's gone ahead and wall broken his way in. Excellent funnel. Good value from those funneling wizards. And now he's ripped that base open. You see 3 air defenses are now exposed, with a possible 4th one exposed to the Archer Queen if she could ever make her way over there. But even if she doesn't, he's got plenty of hounds. So the queen's going to kind of take her time. She's got tons and tons of these pups to work out. So 2 air defenses are down. And pretty soon he's able to start his La Lune, particularly over here. So that 80 dies with the golem's dying breath, essentially. And now he can go ahead and start the La Lune portion. So his queen's not going to last much longer. She's become disjointed from the tanking, or more accurately, the tanking has died. But that's fine. There's not much left to oppose all this air. And the hound pops right toward the end. That's exactly what you want to see. And he has a cleanup loon. There it goes. It's nice to hold a cleanup loon when you can, because sometimes the loons tend to group up, and having a cleanup loon can help you take out defenses on the far side, or buildings on the far side of the base. Okay, here's Green Man again. So this was the second half of his 6-star effort. Again, attacking up, and again attacking this time with a Shattered Goho with a couple of giants. So I love trickling in hogs like this. Anytime you can send a hog in and get an even trade, even if it's one hog for one defense, that trade is always, well, pretty much always worth taking. And here he gets a second defense for it as well. You'll note he gets a double giant bomb with his kill squad and jumps straight into that archer queen. So his king's not tanking the CC, which is perfect. Still has a decent amount of tanking left, and with one pair of giant bombs taken out, he can go ahead and start his hogging. So obviously when you've got a couple giants in the mix, you can tell you're going to go for more of a surgical style deployment. Here he's aiming to get his hogs to converge, which they've now done right into that Tesla farm. Excellent. And there's still some giant bombs remaining, and boom. So he did make some bacon, but if you're going to make bacon, it's good to do it with half your hogs when the other half is still alive and when there's only about 4-point defenses left. And he still has his archer queen ability too. So losing that many hogs is going to make his cleanup kind of slow. But that's okay. Quite a bit of travel time there, but it doesn't make a difference. All right, now this base, no miss. Props to you, because it took 5 attacks to clear your base, and the attack that cleared you was a Town Hall 10, and one of the attacks that you held off was mine, so props to you. This Apex is going to take out this base with a Govaho. Now he's going to use a strat very similar to the one I used. I dropped my archer queen up here as well. What happened to me though is I wasn't attentive enough, and my archer queen actually died, and I think I had an 86%. Now he's going to come in from the south with Valks, and you see he's used Earthquake to open this base up nicely. So far it's pretty similar to what I did, but he has a better archer queen, well, by 1 level, and he's going to remember to use her ability when needed. So Valkyries are going to come in and take out this base quite well. Going to go ahead and drop a heal on them after they tank that double giant bomb. They're going to need it. There's a poison for the opposing archer queen. It's a nice touch. And now, boom, uses her ability. And now his archer queen is never going to die. So Valks are able to take out, just look at how much they're able to take out here. They take out about half of the point defenses in the base, and they take out both pairs of giant bombs, or at least 3 out of 4. And now the hogs come in to take out the remaining defenses. There's that last giant bomb. So from here it's just straightforward. Goes ahead and drops that last heal. And from here it's just clean up. And he still has some Valkyries remaining, has tons of wizards left, tons of hogs. Both heroes are at quite high health. So this is what you'd expect in a nuke attack, but again, props to Nomis for having the hardest Town Hall 9 base that we encountered. Okay, here's Anvil taking on their number 28. This is also a very quick attack, and this is also a Govaho. And he's going to be using Earthquake. Earthquake right there does a great job of opening that base up. Remember what I said when you have like 9 compartments and you can turn it into 6 with Earthquakes? That's what Anvil's doing here. I'm gonna speed it up. So he's got his funnel, and he's wall broken in. He delays his Barbarian King, It's good thought, particularly if there's a CC dragon. And you notice those Valks are just going to rip apart those heroes. And under heal, most of them should live. And now he started the hogging portion. Both heroes still alive. Okay, there the Barbarian King goes, but there are no more point defenses, just like that, and 15 seconds later, the base is cleared. Very quick, very efficient. All right, Caster on their number 29. So we have AQ walk with hogging. So he's going to bring that AQ right into both opposing heroes. Whenever you have offset heroes like that, without much support, it's pretty high value to use an AQ walk to take them out, particularly if you can then use the AQ to take out the CC. Here he doesn't even need to. It's a Hound. Yeah, Hounds can beat on Hogs all day. So 6 wall breakers here. Would have been nice to see 2 or 3 more cleanup wizards, but it's a minor quibble. Obviously, if you're concerned about losing a raid because of wall breakers, it's always better to take too many than too few. I've certainly fallen into the trap where I think I can just get away with 3 wall breakers and then I lose one to a mortar shot or something. And then all of a sudden my heroes wander and the raid's over, so Castro doesn't have that issue. All right, here's Coolopotamus with the second half of his 6-star war effort. Again, a cleanup, and yes, he's hitting really far down, but this is because pretty much every base above this had either been cleared or called by this point. So he gets, for 2 barbarians, he gets this CC, and for 1 poison, he takes it all out. So very efficient use of spells here. Whenever you have an easy allure CC, you tend to avoid using poisonable troops. Kind of a rule of thumb. It also depends what you think is going to lure your CC. For example, if you think an opponent is going to AQ walk you, well then you might put a P.E.K.K.A. in your CC to get that concession of them using the AQ ability again. Or a Hound, but I wouldn't suggest really any other CC if it's easy to lure. So he's going to use Jump to get his Barbarian King into the opposing Archer Queen. And you notice his Queen's heading in the same direction, so very good use for her. She doesn't beat on any wall. She actually takes the jump, which is always nice. And yes, there's still an opposing Barbarian King here. And the Hogs are mostly dead. But he's still got plenty left for cleanup. Both heroes at full health. And Copa's going to have 30-30 soon, and that's going to be even more scary. Here's Dean with the second half of his 6-star. Air attack again, and you notice he's got Zap Quake on tap. So he's going to try to get 2 air defenses with his kill squad, Zap Quake a 3rd one, and then even if he has double Sams on that remaining air defense, it's not going to matter. His Hounds are going to be able to tank it. So 2 ground expos. Ground expos also encourage air attacks. Particularly in these offset bases like this, ground expos, their advantage is they can shoot further, so they can do more damage to a kill squad. But when they're this close to the edge, they don't really do that. And you notice Dean actually gets that sweeper with that Zap Quake. Really nice use of Zap Quake there. And he picks, the remaining air defense that he picks is also quite accessible. Sometimes, whenever you're trying to figure out which air defense you want to leave up, you want to leave up the most accessible one, the one where you have the most straightforward loon pathing. So here his loons are going to do a good job of taking out point defenses that would otherwise kill his Archer Queen. And he has tons of loons left, so he still has a hound. That hound doesn't look like it's going to spawn pups, but it doesn't matter. He has cleanup going all around this base. And then a cleanup loon like I was talking about earlier. Castro with the second half of his 6-star war, and you notice he's got double Zap Quake here with Law Drag. It's kind of an awkward thing to say. So he's going to try to take out, it looks like 3, potentially 4 air defenses before he even deploys dragons. That's pretty ambitious. But if you can do it, it means your dragons are pretty much going to be uncontested. And that's an example of where having lots of wall breakers makes a ton of sense. Whenever you have these dragon compositions, sometimes you have extra troop space. I like to use minions in those remaining troop spaces, but having extra, using that space for wall breakers makes sense too. So here he's taken out 2 of the air defenses. The third one's going to follow shortly. There it goes, and he still has a Zap Quake available. And now he's going to start his funnel for his dragons. Now, this hound, you may look at it and wonder what it accomplishes because it stays so disjointed. But I do want to note that that hound actually took out quite a few traps. It took out 1 SAM and 2 air bombs, and potentially it could have taken out 2 SAMs. And in that sense, bombs and SAMs actually do quite a bit of work on dragons. So taking them out like that, from a cost perspective, I'm not sure if it was worth the troop space, but I don't think it was a bad idea. So his Archer Queen unfortunately doesn't have her ability anymore, and so this top part of the base is going to remain up for a bit, but we'll speed it up because the 5 dragons remaining, okay, there's a double SAM, sorry, 6 and now 5 and now 4 are going to take out the remainder of this base without any issues. Okay, just a few more. Here's No Wi-Fi, they're number 33. EQ Walk with Goho again. So here there's an accessible air defense, which makes the AQ Walk more powerful. Sometimes AQ Walks are challenged quite well by having an air defense kind of barely in the second layer of defense, which makes your healers exposed, but the air defense is safe. Here, however, the air defense is easily taken out, and now this AQ Walk can make it quite a bit further without any problems. Now he's gone ahead and started the kill squad portion of this. Again, timing it so that his AQ will kind of regroup with them, hopefully. You'll note the AQ is going to lose some of these healers to that air defense, but it doesn't really matter at this point. She's too far along. In fact, she's at full health. And she still has her ability. And the hogs are hitting the third of the base or so that's remaining after the AQ walk and kill squad. So you can see that there are tons and tons of hogs left. And so far, well, there he tripped a double giant bomb, but before that he hadn't hit any. So really good hog pathing. And it is over. Brad Piff on their number 34. AQ Walk Go Vaho. I'm not sure if this was a fresh or cleanup attack. AQ Walk Go Vahos actually make quite a bit of sense on fresh attacks. They're very versatile attacks. The problem with AQ Walk Go Vaho, and I haven't really touched on this because I haven't shown any of the 2-star attacks, is they can sometimes be a little slow. You saw on Brad Piff's timer, this attack is about 10 seconds short of the timer. And that's why when I attacked the number 16, I pretty much started my kill squad about 20 seconds or so into the raid. But it can happen sometimes, particularly if your hogs run into some difficulties or if you have trouble killing the opposing AQ, that you can run into time constraints. So here that's not the case. And he's got goblins for this top part. If ever you see that concentration of storages, you know, you could drop like 10 goblins there and it would be much better DPS than cleanup wizards even. When we're talking about storages or collectors, goblins have the highest DPS per housing space in the game. And over with the poison and 10 seconds to spare. And final attack, here's Megatron on the number 35. If you've been paying attention, you'll note that we cleaned all of their Town Hall 9s using 1 nuke, well, sorry, 3 nukes total. And I didn't get into the Town Hall balance. I'll do that right after this attack. We actually had a bit of an advantage with the Town Hall balance, unfortunately. We had, I believe, 2 more Town Hall 10s than they did. One of them was a 9.5. But we had an advantage there. And I'm not sure if that's because they had so many bases with max heroes or not. Hero levels, we were probably pretty darn close, but Town Hall level, we had a slight advantage. So we actually designated our 9.5 to be on nuke duty. And then we had a couple of our Town Hall 10s hold attacks just in case, and Apex needed to use one to help clean up the Town Hall 9s. So Megatron's La Lune attack is going along quite well. You see his loons are, oh, there's tons of loons left and there's nothing left to hit the loons. So the king will play Ring Around the Rosie a little bit, but otherwise it's all over. So I said that we had a slight Town Hall advantage. Before I do that, let me tell you, we cleared all of their Town Hall 9s and we 3-starred one of their Town Hall 10s, so we left 5 stars on the board. They had a little more trouble with our Town Hall 9s. And they're a great clan. I just think that, I think we have pretty good bases. It's something we've worked a lot hard on recently, and I really have to give credit to some of our members who have helped our team develop really strong war bases and who have been, you know, working on these things in their spare time for past month or so. It's really paying dividends. So, good war. Our current war, we're going against a Brazilian clan that unfortunately has a little modding going on, but I hope to have the recap of that up soon.